Hello and welcome. Today, as you may have guessed, I'll be doing a full raid guide on Destiny 2's Last Wish raid. This sucker has 6 encounters, 3 secret chests, dozens of other secrets, and I have to say it all. Dang, this is going to be rough. Now, if you're a first-time raider, turn back. This is one of the hardest raids and can be very challenging for those who've never done anything as such. Now, if you want a raid that is fun, easy, and gives good loot, I recommend Scourge of the Past. Not only is it fun, but I have a raid guide on it, so I can shamelessly promote it. Now, I will take this guide through the eyes of someone who has done at least one raid, so if you have any questions on words or phrases, please leave a comment. If you need help with a certain encounter or don't want to see the wish wall or whatever, or you just don't want to see this intro, go to the description and go to the timestamp, because trust me, there's a lot of useless information you can probably go without. If you enjoy, please like and subscribe. It helps out a lot. Also, because of the nature of being a small channel, only like 2% of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed. So all those big YouTubers complain about only 60%. Yeah, it feels bad to have 100 subs. Also, I recommend having at least one Warlock and one Titan, so you have access to both Well and Bubble. Now, I can finally start. First, when you enter the raid, you will have a massive door in front of you. It will slowly open, and you must enter. Riven, who I'll get to later, says some stuff, and the section of this wall opens. Now, follow the background gameplay till we get to the first encounter. While you pass this little gateway thing, you're actually going to go through it, and you're going to be above a massive room with a bunch of plates and symbols. And before we start, here is a good loadout. Nowadays, swords are the best way to do this encounter. You can use Sleeper or Whisper, but Falling Guillotine is the best. If you don't have Falling Guillotine, then any other sword with Whirlwind Blade and Relentless Strikes will do the trick. All hunters, you are running Bottom Tree Golden Gun with Celestial Nighthawk, and Titans, you need at least one person with a bubble and one person with a well. If you have more than one Titan / Warlock, more bubbles and more wells aren't frowned upon. Primary and secondary don't matter as long as you can kill ads and an orange bar. I use Trinity Ghoul for basically the entire raid because it's broken. Now onto the explanation. Let's first look at the middle. As you see, there are 6 symbols and 3 pairs of symbols. These symbols correlate to plates around the map. Now to choose who gets which plate, it goes by roster. Roster goes by alphabetical order. Since my name starts with an A, so Alpha Wolf, I'm usually 1. And since my partner here, he has a C in his name, he's going to be 2. And so he is going to be with me in the same pair. Now, this pair is 1 and 2. So 1's the left symbol, 2's the right symbol, not that it matters, it's the same symbol. This pair is 3 and 4. And this pair is 5 and 6. Now, look outwards. There should be a bunch of plates with symbols above them. Go to a plate that has a symbol, that has your symbol above it, but don't step on the plates. At least not yet, because that will start the encounter. Now, there can only be one person per plate, so make sure that you and your partner with the same symbol aren't claiming the same plate. Once everybody is ready near their plate, start the encounter by jumping on them. Each plate is split into 3 sections, shown by a line between each section. When you start the encounter, ads will spawn, and above 2 of the 3 sections, a taken ball will appear. After 7 seconds or so, it will collapse onto itself and explode. If you're on the section on either the sections of the plate that it explodes on, you will die. So you have to be on the section that doesn't have the exploding ball. That's it. Surprisingly, this encounter is actually quite simple before the boss phase. Keep killing ads and standing on the section of the plate that doesn't have the ball until, at the front of your plate, a taken spawning animation will happen. A knight will spawn in and you have to kill it. I recommend a shotgun or just using your sword because you can blow yourself up with a grenade launcher. Once you kill your knight, say I killed my knight and run to the center of the room. This is where DPS will take place. If someone doesn't complete their plate, an ogre will spawn in the middle. No biggie, just kill it. Now, once all the plates and knights are defeated, everyone must run to the middle. 5 seconds after the knights are dead, Kalli will spawn under one of the 3 pairs. This is where you do your DPS. Pop a bubble in the center, lower portion of the room, and have everyone get in it. For Warlocks, pop a well on top of Kalli. Keep swinging away at her until she starts singing and holding her arms above her head. This is the hardest part of this encounter. There are 18 doors below her, and 6 will open. Now, remember when you were assigned a number 1 through 6 depending on your plate? or depending on your name in the roster, this is where that gets important. This is going to seem confusing, but if you think about it, it's really not. Pretend that this is a book, and each of the doors that open is a word. If you are one, look for the first word in the book. Well, you're going to go left to right, top to bottom, as you're reading a book. Makes sense? Well, in this example, this will be the door that 1 goes to. This will be 2, this will be 3, this will be 4, this will be 5, and there isn't a 6. This is because someone screwed up their plate, so just know, as you see in a moment, they kind of just sit out there and they end up dying. Go into your corresponding door and it will close. If 2 people are in the same door, it will not close. After 6 seconds or so from when she started singing, a blinding light will engulf the room. If you are in the doors and the door is closed, you are safe. If not, you are dead. Don't worry though, because people can just revive you. Now Kalli will go clockwise to the next set of doors. She'll go to each set of doors, so 3 cycles, and then she'll disappear. Once 3 cycles of the doors are done, and if she isn't dead, rinse and repeat until she is. If you did it within the first 3 cycles, congrats! You just one-phased her, and you completed the first encounter. Now, to make all of that useless by telling you a cheese. Be warned. Like I said, this is a cheese. This is not the way to do the encounter, and it's not how it was intended to be done. And I recommend everyone knowing how to do it legit and completing a full legit run before doing any cheese, except for Riven. This is because if someone doesn't want to cheese, and you're the only person who doesn't know how to do it legit, you're in a pickle. Everyone gone who hasn't done a full run? Sweet. Now, for the cheese. For this, you need at least 1 person with anarchy, 1 well, 1 bubble, and preferably 2 or more hunters. Basically, you go to this spot and start the encounter. As you might have seen, Kalli seemingly teleports around the map, pushing people around. Well, as it turns out, she first spawns and teleports here. So when you start, put anarchy grenades around this position, so this arc bolt travels through this area. Also, go ahead and put your well down and a bubble farther back so everyone can get weapons of light. Now, what you want to do is wait for her to spawn. Once she does, the Titan and the Warlock go ham on her with Falling Guillotine. The Hunters pop their Celestial Nighthawks, Bottom Tree Golden Guns, and get a headshot, then attack her with the Falling Guillotines. If you did correctly, it will stun her and she won't teleport away. This gives you free reign to kill her without having to do any mechanics. With her dead, follow me as I lead you to the second encounter. Now, to get to the second encounter, first you're going to go through these doors. But as for the fact that I don't know how fast I talk, nor how long it takes me to get to the first secret chest, I don't really have a script to say right now, so I'll probably just mute my mic and wait till I get to the first secret chest. Once you exit the cave, on your right there's going to be a massive bridge, kind of hard to not see. Now, basically, once you go through that spire, you're going to go down there. If you look bottom left, there's kind of a rocky area. You jump down, there's going to be a chest right there. Once you open the chest, look to your right, and there's going to be a portal that spawns. It's going to bring you up back to the bridge. Now, if you're lazy or you don't have any friends, but you kind of want some loot, you can actually get to that chest without doing any encounters. Now, if you want to see where that is, go back to when I talk about the wish. I think it's the 4th wish, but I'm not quite sure. Once you get that, follow the video all the way to here. Once you get to that little spire thing, and take a right. And basically keep going forward until you reach the second encounter. Those doors off in the distance signal the second encounter, so get ready. This is the hardest encounter in the raid for the fire team. That might sound confusing, but what I really mean is 4 out of the 6 people must know how to do a certain section really well. With Kalli, you kind of just do it. If you do the same thing every time, it will work. This encounter is different, and thus is a challenge for new raiders. I will try to explain this the best I can, but until you have a top-down perspective of this encounter, it's really hard to just grasp, because you have to have a sense for everyone in the room at once. and it can be tricky for people who are just trying to complete it. Now, setups. This is a very ad heavy encounter. I recommend having 2 wells and everyone else be on ad clearing supers. Also, you should always have your falling guillotine on, just because it's so dang good. Then, have a good ad clearing weapon, and then a good orange bar killing weapon. I run Mountaintop and Trinity Ghoul, but it really is your choice. But seriously, use an ad clearing super. I'm on a Warlock main, but either top or bottom tree Dawnblade makes it so every kill increases duration. I'm not quite sure what it is, but that one is insane. Use it. Single shot tether with Orpheus Rigs for Hunter is amazing, and Titans, I honestly don't know. But with that out of the way, rally the flag and get ready. When you first enter the encounter, there are a lot of ads. No, seriously, a lot. I recommend having one of your tether hunters call first tether. There are so many enemies, you get your tether halfway back if you do it correctly. Now this encounter is the same thing 3 times, with a third time being a little bit harder, so keep that in mind. Kill the ads in the main area until they start spawning around Shuro herself. After a while, little crystal things will spawn on these plates. Though they look like eggs, refer to them as crystals. Basically, I can't really say all the roles yet, because you would have no idea what I'm talking about. But one of the roles that you sort your fire team in is before you start the encounter is crystal. Basically 3 crystal people, 1 for each crystal. If you're designated as a crystal person, I recommend standing near where they spawn before they do, so you go grab them up quick. Simple enough. Now this is going to seem complicated, but trust me, it really isn't. When the crystals spawn, have one person count down, saying 3, 2, 1, crystals. Once they say crystals, you must jump on the plate, pick up the crystals, and shoot the person to your right if you're facing Shuro Chi. You must be on the plate. Little rings will rise up around your feet and it will glow if you're on the plate. If not, make sure you're in the center. You must shoot the person to your right if you're facing Shuro Chi. Which means, so you're facing Shuro Chi, turn like 90 degrees a little bit, that's the person you shoot. The plate will damage you, so if you are low, tell people to wait before you pick up the crystals and jump on the plates. Now, there was a countdown in the bottom right of your screen. Remember I said you have to do the same thing 3 times? Each time you do it, you have to do it within the time frame you're given, which is around 4 minutes. When the crystals spawn, the timer ticks faster. That's why you have to be quick. Really isn't that complicated, but explaining it can be a little difficult. So now, basically, the spiral thing will spawn around Shuro Chi. Once that happens, her shield will drop and you do damage. I recommend putting down a well and then just guillotining her until she's dead. Actually, she won't be dead. You'll get a 6 of her health and then she'll teleport away. Once she does that, you're going to go this way and a bunch of ads will spawn. And there's another set of plates all the way back here. Basically, this is the way to run to get all the way over there. Do the same thing again, crystals, shooting to the right, damaging her, and then we get to the second hardest bit of the raid, not counting legit Riven, the wall. There are 2 types of raid encounters, no luck encounters and hell. Hell encounters, such as this, Morgeth, Vault, and Heart, work in a weird way. They all have some element of luck, so even if you know how they work, there are times when no matter what you do, you have to improvise. This means you have to have a sense for everyone in the room at once, and to be able to do these types of encounters, you have to have done them at least 10 times. This encounter is probably the biggest example of that. Remember when I said there were 2 things you need to assign in the beginning of the encounter? This is where the second one comes into play. Assign 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 ad clears for this room alone. And please, if you have to listen to me at any point in this video, do it now. When you enter the room, there is a grid of 3 by 3 plates in the center. On the walls, there are 3 circles divided into 9 parts. The circle on the left will have a symbol, in this case, Infinity Snake, but some of the pieces are missing. Now, orient yourself facing the wall, and this is where it gets a little tricky. You have to fill the missing pieces. There are 4 pieces missing in this symbol. Now, the holes, pretend they are words in a book. Go from left, right, up, down. So in this case, 1 goes here, 2 would go here, 3 goes here, and 4 goes here. When I say they go here, imagine that you
took the picture on the wall and slapped it on the 9x9 grid on the ground. So 1 would be top left,
2 would be middle, 3 would be bottom left, and 4 would be bottom right.
Go by orienting yourself like that. Obviously, you have to be facing the wall, okay? After that, another picture will appear. So now let's take this next one. I am 2, so we look at the thing. Top left is 1, so mid left would be 2. So I go in front of mid left, we count down, and I jump on it, and we fill the symbols.
Do the same thing for the middle symbol and the right symbol. If you complete them all, you move on. Makes sense? It's hard to explain very well, so here is our team doing it. But remember when I said this was a hell encounter? Where's the randomness? Well, you can only step on each plate once. So if 1 had to step on plate 3 for the first symbol, they can't step on plate 1 for the second symbol because it's the same plate on the ground. Even though it's different on the wall, it's the same on the ground because orientation switch. If this happens, you have to switch with someone else. So if 1 needs to switch up, 1 and 2 will switch. So 2 will go to 1's plate, 1 will go to 2's plate, if that makes any sense. This is post-production alpha. We actually have quite a good example of this. If you see it in the second symbol we're supposed to do, I have plate 2. So I jump on that. But on the right symbol, I then have plate 4, which is the same plate because orientation switch. So you see, then I go to the top middle plate of orientation for both of them because that was 1's job. But since I already did mine, I had to switch. So that's quite a good example. That's kind of what you do there. If 2 needs to switch again, then you do 2 and 1. But let's say, let's say 2 doesn't realize that they have already been on 1's plate. Now 1 can't step on either 1 and 2 plate, and 2 can't step on 1 and 2 plate. Now at this point is when it becomes a super hard encounter. You have to get everyone together really quickly to ask who's done what, so you can fill in the gaps. Add Clear can also jump on plate if they need to. Also, because these plates damage you, there's no shame in putting a well or a rift down to heal yourself. Also, if you hit L2 or just blocking with your sword, you take a lot less damage. Now, once you complete the 3 symbols, jump up to these bowls, and you're on to floor 2. Floor 2 is the exact same except for the fact that now the ads are scions. Do the same thing again, and you get to floor 3. There are a couple things different about floor 3. First, the enemies are acolytes. They are stronger, and they can spawn acolyte eyes, which damage you. Also, there is a massive ledge, and Shuro Chi will boop you off. The first damage phase is the same, but the second is slightly different. When the crystals first spawn, a wave of ads will spawn as well. Kill the ads first because they will screw you up. Once the ads are dead, pick up the crystal, break her shield, and kill her. Now, onto some parkour. Now, the secret chest is quite a ways away, and there are a couple things you need to do first. Actually, there's nothing you need to do first, but you do need to run there. Make sure you don't bonk your head on those stairs, because you will go flying to the other side of the map, and you will die. Then there's this tree jump, and for some reason people get really stuck on this. I don't know why. The only reason I get kinda caught up is because I never play Warlock, and Warlock jump sucks. Please at me, because it does. Once you get up here, you're going to take a left. It's going to be a fake door. Don't go through it. You're going to jump over there. If you fall there, I'm really disappointed in you. Then you're going to come to this little crystalline cave-looking thing, the Keep of Voices. I actually go the wrong way originally because I'm stupid. You think after doing this so many times I'll be able to do it, but no! Once you get over here, you're going to take a left going up the stairs. And as you see for the people up there, once you get all the way up there, you take another left past a little nice looking rock with a bonsai tree on it. Jump over, I don't know, those seats, I can't tell. Then, once you get over here, you turn left and there's a tree. You're going to want to go up that tree, and then it's a little bit of difficult parkour. Once you go up the tree, you're gonna run forward, jump that chasm, and then you are gonna grab your loot. Once you get out of the tree, you drop back down, run over here, jump up another tree, and you go into this portal. It will teleport you into this taken area. You have to get all the way over to over here. There are other portals around the area, but they will kill you. Basically, I'm just gonna show you a 2 times speed time lapse. So, here you go. It's probably showing in the background right now. Now, once we get over this portal, we'll be spawned in the easiest, but hardest to explain encounter. Now, you're going to assign left 1, left 2, first and last, first pickup right, and second pickup right, also first cleanser right. You're going to want a bubble and a well for max damage. Also, keep your bloody sword on. It's the only thing you need for this raid, really. Now, for the explanation. There are 2 sides, right and left. If you're assigned left, stay on the left. If you're assigned right, stay on the right. But, like the French language, there are always exceptions, but I'll get to those. Also, there's one orb that spawns here, and this is where I explain the first and easiest job. Whoever is assigned first and last picks up this orb. Now, whenever another orb spawns there, pick it up and then go to damage. That's it. I suggest killing ads so your teammates don't kick you, but it's your choice. Now, the funny thing about this encounter is that every single time you do it, it's the exact same, but every single time it also changes. Doesn't make sense? Well, you're right, it doesn't. But let me go through 2 strats. First, I'll explain the encounter. This is Taken Ball. When you touch it, it disappears and you get a buff called Taken Strength. You can only hold 2, but more than that and it will kill you. Unless you're Titan, or a Warlock, or use a specific finisher. But we aren't talking about that. This is a normal guide. Basically, you can only hold 1. You can only hold 2. The goal of this encounter is to pick up the 10 that spawn and then kill this chap. His name is Morgeth. Now, let's start. First, we're going to go over the forced right strat. This is the easy strat, and I recommend not even listening to me when I explain the second strat. Basically, same rules as before. Start the encounter. First, last picks up this orb. Morgeth will awaken, and a bunch of ads will spawn. I recommend using Trini Ghoul Mountaintop for optimal killing. Now, after a while, 2 Taken Strengths will spawn. 2 on right, and 2 on left. Now, this is where it gets its name. First pickup on right picks up the 2 on the right, okay? While left 1 and left 2 both pick up 1 each. Now, when you have 2 Taken Strength, Morgeth randomly lifts his hand and puts someone in a Taken Tornado that has 2 Taken Strength. It will immobilize you unless you have a sword, but ignore that. When it happens, your screen goes dark. Say Tornado and then wherever you are. So, bottom right, top right, left, or top left. Most likely your teammate who has another job will be looking for you anyways. Now let's go over the job of first cleanse right. Basically, enemy spawns called the Eyes of Riven. When you kill them, it drops this thing. It does the same thing Shuro Chi did, but these are actually needed. Basically, once your teammate picks up 2 orbs, you pick up that thing and keep an eye on them. Also, the Eye of Riven can spawn on either side, but it doesn't necessarily have to spawn on the right side. So sometimes it spawns on the left, and you might have to run all the way to the left side to kill it. Now, basically, once your teammate picks up the 2 orbs, you pick up that thing, and you have to keep an eye on them, like I said. When they go into that tornado, run up to them and hit your grenade button. For most, it's L1 if you're on PS4. I don't know what it is for Xbox or PC, but it's your grenade button. Now, pay attention to this bit. The cleanser, the guy who held the orb, takes the 2 Taken Strength held by first pickup. And now, first pickup doesn't have any Taken Strength. Get it? So let's take stock. First pickup, right now, has no Taken Strength. First cleanser has 2 Taken Strength. And both L1 and L2 and first last have 1. Also, second pickup right doesn't have any Taken Strength. Now, after that cleansing shenanigan, another 2 orbs will spawn on each side.
Second pickup right will take those orbs, and both left 1 and left 2 pick up 1 orb each. The first pickup right, whoever that was, who now doesn't have any taken strength, waits patiently near an eye of Riven. Once Morgeth does the hand thing, someone calls out where they are, tornado top right, bottom left, bottom right, whatever. The guy takes the ball and then cleanses that person. After that, the last orb spawns here and you go to damage. Now, I'm going to explain damage a little bit later, but first I'm going to talk about the other strat. I'm going to go over it very briefly because though it may be slightly easier, it's a lot worse. Basically, instead of splitting left into L1 and L2, it's first pickup and second pickup like right. This is bad because now when Morgeth does the hand thing, the taking person could be on either left or right, and the cleanser might not be able to have time to get over to them. But basically, after you do more or less the same exact thing, it's time to go to damage. There are 4 ways to do damage, and only 2 of them are still used. I only have footage of 2 of them because they are the best way. First, swords. Basically, for this track, go behind Morgeth and put a bubble around this area. Then, put a well between his legs and attack with your sword. Morgeth goes down quite quickly. The next is Anarchy/Grenade Launcher strat. Basically, you put a bubble in the same place and the well just in front of the bubble. You shoot Morgeth with Anarchy, then follow it with Mountaintop. For Mountaintop, shoot the massive bubble thing on his back. That's his crit spot. Third one is shotguns. Basically do the same thing you did for swords, but use a shotgun. The fourth and final form, which is basically not used anymore, is sniper shot. Basically, you go to the end of this bridge, pop a well in a bubble, and shoot him with Whisper or Darcy. Regardless of what strat you use, you will one-phase him. Once you do, hope you get Curated Nation of the Beasts, and carry on to the hardest encounter for 3 members of your fire team. Vault.
Now the video is gonna run the path to the next encounter. If you'd like to skip this rant I'm about to do, check the timestamps for when I start explaining Vault. But if you want to hear me out, thank you. Basically, I've reached page 10 of this script, my longest script, might I add. I've been working super hard to get the script done, and also, in the future, the editing of the video itself. A like or subscription really means a lot. Share this video with others if they also need help with this, because this is the most up-to-date Last Wish guide. Again, thank you, and now back to the explanation. Okay, boys, this is the encounter I've been dreading to explain. It took top teams 12 hours to complete it, and days to finally understand how it worked. Also, there were so many different things, exemptions, and everything. Trust me, this encounter is annoying. Because of the nature of this encounter, after I finish explaining it, I will show one cycle of this encounter just so you get a feel for it. Okay. Here goes nothing. First, let's explain the room or rooms you are in. This is called tree. For call, it's referred to as tree. This is rock, referred to as rock. This is stairs, referred to as stairs. Between each room, there is an underground tunnel on either side. Remember this for later on. Then, there is the main room. In front of each room, there is a plate, and then in the middle of the middle room, there is a massive ball. Kind of hard to miss. Now, first I'm going to go over the roles. 3 people need to do nothing, except kill everything they see, and do not cross this line. Technically you can, but I just recommend not doing it until you understand when you can and when you can't. At certain points in the encounter, these rooms will be shut off, and if you're caught on the other side, it can be potentially catastrophic. That's all those 3 people need to do. Also, there are some knights that you're going to need to kill that spawn, and just look out for those. That took me about 3 sentences. Now for the other 3 people. They are the runners, the readers, and the only people doing anything in this encounter. There are 3 runners, 1 for tree, 1 for rock, and 1 for stairs. Same for the defenders. Now, this is harder than I thought. There's almost no way to explain this encounter except to show you an example. So, we're going to go through this encounter at a normal pace. The 3 readers need to say certain things so the others know what to say. Now, I would show you a video first so you kind of get an understanding, but one of the person's mic muted. Actually, the main person you would need to hear, his mic is muted, so we'll give an example. Everyone steps on their plates, and this is what happens. If you look on the big ball, symbols come up. For stairs, it has dragon breathing fire to the right. On their left, fish swimming up in the middle, and diving bird on their right. Rock has bird on a branch on the left, dragon breathing fire to the right in the middle, and fish swimming through seaweed on their right. Trees has 8 snake on their left, swimming through seaweed in the middle, and fish swimming up to the right. Stairs always speaks first, and they say their middle symbol. In this case, fish swimming up. They say that, and then trees, who has that symbol on their right, says, that's on my right. I have fish swimming through seaweed in the middle. Now Rock chimes up and says, that's on my right. I have dragon breathing fire to the right. Stairs says, that's on my left, and that's the info you need. Now, that didn't make any sense until I explained the whole encounter, but there is always at least one person on either right or left. What I mean by that is that you can't have 3 people who are like, oh, that's on my right, that's on my right, that's on my right. There has to be 2 rights and a left, or 2 lefts and a right. Now, stop thinking of left and right because they have new names. Left is pen, short for penumbra, and right is ant, short for antumbra. These will be brought up later, but in the case of our example, it can be hard to memorize each side's position of either left or right. So, in the example case, say stairs is the only pen. So you know the others are right. Since if it's the only pen, the other ones are right. And since pen is left, and stairs was the only one who says that symbol was on my left, they are pen, and thus they're the only pen because the other one were right. Makes sense? Kinda. If it does make sense, like always, raids are easier done than said, so it'll probably make more sense when you do it. Now, here's the video. The person on stairs doesn't have a mic, but it should make the concept a little bit easier.
That is on my right. I have a fish swimming left through seaweed.
That is on my right. I have a dragon breathing fire to the right. So, rocks. Yeah, so stairs is the only
stairs
pen.
is only P.
Once you read out the symbols, in a little bit of time, all of the entrances to the place, rock, stairs, and trees, will be cut off, except for one. This is what you do if your side opens. Basically, remember the eyes of Riven from Shuro Chi and Morgeth? Well, they're back. Basically, kill 2 waves of ads, until they spawn. Then kill it. Now, this is where we're going to need a map. Once you pick up the ball, one of the sides will open. Either rock, trees, or stairs, but it can't be the one you're opening. So, if trees just opened, trees will not stay opened. Now, in this case, trees opened. So I go through this tunnel to go to trees from my point, which was rock. Now, as you see, my buff says take an essence penumbra. This means I have to slam on the plate that is pen, which is, in this case, as we know, stairs. So I run over to that plate, hit my grenade button, and slam it. Now, that is really confusing. Really confusing. But you're only a 1/9 of the way there. When trees opened for me to go and slam, the ad started spawning at trees as well. So now, trees runner has to kill the Riven, and when he picks up the orb, another place will open, in this case, stairs. When trees takes the orb over and slams it on ant, since there was only one pen, and I cleanse that, stairs runner goes and kills his Riven, and goes through the open area, in this case, rocks. Now, once the last orb is slammed, the encounter resets, and you have to do it again twice more. So the symbols reset, which ones change in order, and all that will reset. After slamming the last orb, this door will open, and now it's just Riven and her heart. Before we get to explaining Riven, just know that there is a cheese for Vault. Remember that once you pick up an orb, one of the areas opens and the others do close. Well, if you're a warlock, put on Blink and Attract Cannon. Basically, you push the Riven close to the wall, and you kill it. Once you pick up the orb, your area will start to close. If you jump and blink quick enough, you can go through the wall, then proceed to slam. It's easy, simple, but it can be tricky, so I'd recommend just doing it the normal way first. Now, if you've just skipped to this time, welcome. If you've gone through the whole video, dang, you're committed. Or you just want some dang loot. Regardless, these 2 are the last encounters, and they are all to stand between you and your loot. So let's finish strong. First, no, I'm not going to go over legit Riven. Someone in the comments will be like, oh my word, imagine making a guide not doing legit Riven, hashtag terrible, hashtag dislike. And to that person, I have done legit Riven, and it's the best encounter of all Destiny 2. Go check out my video. The reason I'm not adding it is A, no one would watch because no one does it anymore, and B, this video is already long enough and I don't want to go over it. Now that you've reached the Riven encounter, you're going to be in a room that looks like this. There's a big crystal in the middle and 6 little plates surrounding it. There are no names for these plates, just know that there are 3 to the left and 3 to the right. To start the encounter, everyone has to step on their own plate. Before we get to that, let's talk about loadouts. There are 2 ways to do this, but they revolve around either Bubble Titan, putting on an Oppressive Grenade, or putting on a Tractor Cannon. They both do the same thing, but I recommend Tractor Cannon. You only need 2 wells, but the more the merrier, I guess. You also only need a max of 2 bubbles, but again, do whatever you want. Hunters, you know the drill. Slap on Top Tree, Celestial Nighthawk, but don't use it when you think you should. Everyone, except the guy using a tractor cannon, needs to put on Falling Guillotine or any sword with Whirlwind Blade Relentless Strikes. A good substitute that always has this role is It Stared Back, a sword from the Leviathan. If you want it but don't have it, watch my raid guide because shameless promotion. I also recommend having either a sniper or grenade launcher and a good ad clearing weapon. I use Mount Top Training Ghoul because I'm a good player. Now, if you just came out of the door, there are 3 plates on the left and 3 plates on the right. If you start on the plates on the right, orientate yourself to be looking towards the plates on the left. If you're on the left, just look down. Once every plate is filled, a bubble will enclose you around the plate, and the plate will open. You drop down, and in front of you is Riven of 1,000 Voices, the last known Ahamkara. Take in the majestic creature, but then look down. Below those who drop down in the left plate is a blue crystal. In front of the crystal is a door. Everyone must go through it. If you're on the other side, there will be yellow crystals. Don't go through that door. Go all the way to where the blue side is. Also, don't run through the middle. There isn't one. When you go through the doors, you'll first enter a room. Everyone stays here, except for one person who goes through. Technically, you don't have to have a couple of people waiting back, but it speeds up the process. Now, once that one person enters the room, stay where you are and look here. In about 5 seconds, a shadow of Riven will or won't appear walking across the area. If it does, then everyone goes over here, and if it doesn't, then you go over here. Now let's go from a run that the shadow didn't spawn. Basically, you have to go to this point on the wall, and it'll say joining allies. Wait until you get teleported, and you'll be teleported back to the top where you started. You're going to follow this path down to where you're going to do damage. When you get to the correct room, you will have to be quick to catch Riven, so don't dilly-dally. Also, for the love of all things holy, when you're jumping down these massive holes, remember to jump or you will break every single bone in your body. Now, it doesn't matter which room you are in for this bit of the explanation, because they are identical. In a bit, Riven will walk out of the shadowy area and rest here. Her paw will be laying here, and that is where you do your damage. There is a taken pool right around her foot, so make sure you put a well down. Also, put the bubble away from her paw, because you could accidentally hit the bubble instead of her paw with your guillotine, or whatever sword you're using. If you have Celestial Nighthawk, don't use it, but if you have Suppressive Grenade or Tractor Cannon, shoot her. Now, a question I get a lot from people using Follow Guillotine is, why is my damage so low? Well, that's because you're using it wrong. Take it from a man who's pulled 800k on Riven, there's an easy way to do a lot of damage. First, spam light attacks, and once you've hit her around 4 times, heavy attack. Then spam light attacks until your heavy attack returns, and rinse and repeat. Also, you know when your heavy attack returns because this bar fills up, and it will be the color of whatever subclass you're using. In this case, it will be orange because I'm using a solar subclass. You have to get to this line for her to go away. When she does, she teleports you into this area. There are a bunch of taken phalanxes, and you have to kill them. If you have a trainee ghoul, it one-shots both of them, so you don't even have to try. Follow this path zigzagging up and down, Riven staring at you, kinda whack, and then you'll find another Morgeth ball. Touch it because it's basically all Guardians do at this point. Like, seriously, Levy, Spire of Stars, Scourge of the Path, and Last Wish, we just touch balls, kinda whack as a mage, but do it anyway, and you get teleported here. Riven will jump out of the wall, and now Hunters shoot her mouth with Celestial Nighthawk. If 3 Celestial Nighthawks hit her at once, it will one-shot her, and it looks sick. When she's dead, crawl into her mouth, because hey, you already touched her balls, why not in her stomach? Once you reach her stomach, shoot her heart, and don't kill yourself, and she dies. You've reached the final encounter. But seriously, can we talk about what we've just done to this poor dragon? She made 2 witches her friends, so we made them not like her. Then we killed her pet ogre. Then we touched her balls and her mouth and killed her. And now we've taken her kidney stone. Kinda whack SMH. Where's PETA when we need them? Now, forget the jokes. It's time to get some loot.
This encounter is a group run, which means you have to follow a set path while holding an object, and you have to reach a certain destination. In the background, while I'm explaining, I will show you the path, so take close attention to that. Basically, you take that ball, and you have to bring it to the Techions to cleanse Riven. Now, I'm going to explain this encounter in 2 parts, and then show you how they mesh together. First, the people running. When the encounter starts, 1 person will be chosen. They are going to start their run. When the person picks up the ball, an aura will spawn around them. If you are outside that aura, which gets smaller every second, you get a debuff called Creeping Darkness. If it stacks to 10, you immediately die. So make sure you don't stop during the run, and stay next to whoever has the ball. When you have the ball, say the timer, like count it, like saying 1, 2, 3, whatever. You're going to say that on the left side of the screen. Don't just start when, it gets near 0, like don't say, be quiet for a while and then say 5, 4, because that's going to screw up some other people. Start immediately when you pick up the ball until you drop it. Now, once the cooldown reaches 0, the person will be teleported and a new person will be chosen. And they have to pick up the ball, run, count out, etc. But there is a catch. When the countdown reaches 0 and the person is teleported, I'll explain where later, you can see that there are 2 pulse effects. If you are too close, when the second pulse happens, or the first pulse for that matter, you are teleported as well, which is bad. You only want 1 person being teleported at a time, and I'm going to, and I currently am, showing a full run in the background. Basically, while this video is going, I need to say something you're going to think is obvious, but I know people will do. Keep on running. You only have a certain amount of time to run the whole course, so you can't walk. You have to run. This also applies to the person holding the ball, but they can only fast walk. But the bubble shrinks, so if you're behind them, you won't be able to catch up. I recommend staying in front of the person with the ball at all times, but if you happen to stray behind, yell wait, and only tell them to go when you get in front of them. Now, when you reach this area, which is vault, one of the rooms will be open. If this door opens, follow this path. Okay, yeah, this is post-production. This one is the only one that opens. So yeah, just follow this path. The other one doesn't open, so basically you just go around, and then when you find the massive hole, you go down it. Either way, you end up over here. Once here, drop down, but if your timer is under 7 seconds, wait for your teammates to pick it up. This is because if you fall down in the middle, and in the middle of the fall, drop the ball, your teammate could fall into the second pulse, or not get to the ball in time. Once down here, don't get over here and you've completed the raid, but wait! That's not the full encounter. Remember when I said you get teleported? Well, this is where you go, and this is what you do. Basically, when you're teleported, you are teleported inside the ball. You have to pick up these things, the same things from Morgeth. Basically, let's take it from the beginning of the encounter. So, first pickup goes here, drops the ball, and gets teleported in. A lot of ads will be present, so he'll have to kill them. He has to listen to the person who's holding the ball. They will count down, and when they say 3, not 1, not 2, not 0. When they say 3, you pick up the orb. This extends the timer by 15 seconds and allows people to run farther and actually complete the encounter. That's why in the background video, the area of the ball gets smaller and then largens for seemingly no reason. That is the reason. Now, once that second timer runs out, the second runner will be teleported inside. Now, instead of 1 orb, there are 2. So, listen closely. The person who was there from the beginning goes and stand by 1 orb of their choosing. Doesn't matter. The other guy picks up the remaining orb. Again, when the person says 3, the original person picks up that last orb, and the 15 seconds is added. That timer runs out, and now there are 3 people and 3 orbs, but as in Morgeth, you can only have 2 taken strength. It resets every round of orbs, so if your teammates are stupid and aren't picking up the orbs, you can pick them up for them, but only
2 before the third one kills you. If someone dies, their ghost is teleported inside the ball. If they are too close when the runner is teleported, they are also teleported in, as I said. These people don't pick up orbs and only kill ads. You can technically do this encounter with one runner, but there involves annoying glitch that I'm not going to explain. If you do, just search up Gladiator Rush, Last Wish, Heart, One Man. I know it's kind of complicated, but it's kind of a complicated glitch, so I'm not going to go over it. But all you need to know is you can do it with 4 runners. So if you get the 15 bonus for each one, you can technically do it with 4. In the final round, there will be 4 people in the heart if no one has died. Everyone picks up one, and the person dunks it in the final hole. Remember to damage the orb, and you have finally defeated the Last Wish and Riven herself. Thank you so much for watching. It took me 5 weeks to write this script, so from the bottom of my heart, if you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe. Also, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'll answer all that I can. Also, big thanks to my dad who gave me support through this whole process and helped me get some clips. Also, I have a Scourge of the Past and Leviathan guide, so check out those in the description if you need help with those. And guys, thank you so much again, and I'll see you guys later.